Hello, everybody. Tim Hughes here. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite. Today, I've got with me Adam Gray. It's someone I know extremely well. I thought I'd invite him on today to talk about a particular subject, which is about social selling qualifications. So before we get into that, always ask my guests, where can people find you, Adam?
Hi, well, you can find me on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/in/Adam Gray, or you can find me on Twitter, and I'm AG Social Media.
Fantastic. So just quickly in 30 seconds, explain your journey about how you got here. Not like I got up in the morning and I walked down to the office.
I'll have to give it a bit more thought then. So I kind of transitioned. I ended up in sort of sales and marketing many years ago, and I had a design agency for a while, and then I decided that was old hat, and I needed to look at where the future was. So I found myself in social media, and I wrote a book about it, and the book made me famous. And then I was recruited into Oracle, which is it's kind of where I met you, although we did meet just a little bit before that. And then during the time that I was at Oracle, the two of us obviously bumped into each other quite a lot, and we said, yeah, there's an opportunity to do something different out there, which is more valuable to people. And then the stars aligned, and we both left Oracle and founded this business, and we've been doing it ever since, which is nearly 6 years now, isn't it?
It's nearly 7 years.
Nearly 7 years. My, how time flies.
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah.
So we've just made a recent announcement about social selling qualification. So talk us through so this is with the Institute of Sales Professionals. I have to have it written down, otherwise I forget. So that's why I was looking down. So it's the ISP. So talk us through who are the ISP. Let's go. Who are the ISP first and foremost?
Okay, so they are the membership body for professional salespeople in the UK and around the world. So it's kind of like the professional body that doctors or marketers or whatever belong to. It's the not-for-profit organization that those members can subscribe to, and they do such things as lobby government, create training. They try to professionalize the whole world of sales, and that doesn't just include your ability to sell stuff, but it's also the ethics behind it, the processes behind it, etc., etc.
So my understanding is that they went out to the market. They realized that there's in terms of the training portfolio that they offer. So they don't do training themselves, but they offer and say, this is what a salesperson, the skill set that they need to have. They went out to the marketplace and looked at and said, we need to have a digital offering. And then they chose us as being that digital offering.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, we talk a lot about serendipity and stars aligning and stuff like that, but they've got this quadrant, and they've got like, here's how we do networking, and here's how we do face-to-face selling, and here's how we do ethics, and here's how we haven't got anything around digital. And coincidentally, at the same time, we were having a conversation about how this is a journey that people go on to become social. And at the end of the journey, there should be some sort of recognition of the fact that they have successfully navigated that journey and have learned some skills and have been able to deploy those skills. And it was just a very good chance encounter that we came together at that point. And they said, we've got a hole in our portfolio, which is this. All kind of indicators are that you're the people we should be talking to. And we said, well, that's fascinating, because we're at this point where we are trying to produce a qualification. But frankly, we know a lot about sales. We know a lot about social. We know a lot about marketing. We don't know anything about education and qualifications. So actually having an organization that is itself an Ofqual regulated examination center and adjudicator means that they do have that expertise. And it's a perfect marrying up of what we need and the gaps in our knowledge, and obviously what they're looking for in terms of a digital offering to make salespeople competent and educated and professional and everything in 2022 and beyond.
Because I mean, people watching could actually be saying, well, yes, but anybody can give a qualification. Because we've seen it ourselves. We've seen people put certificates on LinkedIn saying, I'm now a social seller, when it's clearly they don't have this social selling skills. So what is different to this?
Well, I think that there are an awful lot of certificates out there that are not just in social selling, but in general, that are certificates of attendance.
Mm.
You know, when we worked for a big tech company, you would get here's my diversity training, here's my ethics training, and you get a little badge to put on your profile, which is nice, but actually it doesn't show any basic competency in that. It shows that you've been able to tick the right boxes and answer your multiple guess questionnaire properly at the end. But it doesn't show that you have any strategic understanding of how this impacts on what it is that you do. I think that the key thing, and the thing that I'm certainly very keen on, is that loads of people fail. Because actually, if everybody passes, it doesn't have any value.
Mm.
So what
And so this is about the acquisition of the knowledge.
In part, yes,
and then the ongoing
application.
change.
Yeah, the application of that knowledge that you've learned. Because I think that social and sales, it's all very well to understand the theory of this. It's something entirely different to be able to apply that in a way that generates results.
Mm.
And I think that for your employer's perspective is, it's nice to reward you with training, although as we know in the corporate space, often training is seen as a penance rather than a reward. It's nice to give you training opportunities, but actually what I, as the person paying for the training, want is I want to see a positive ROI into my business.
Mm.
And simply cramming you with knowledge that you don't use doesn't achieve that. You might have loads of new ideas and, oh, that's fantastic, I really enjoyed that and I feel energized now. But actually, if you're not doing the thing that you're employed to do better and more effectively and more efficiently and more competitively, like, what was the point in doing it?
So we see on LinkedIn and social media lots of training around hints and tips and masterclasses, and obviously there's books about LinkedIn and social selling. I mean, I've written one myself. I mean, what do you think to those?
I think often, they contain some very useful information. But as we know, the useful information is of almost zero value if you don't apply it. So I want to be thinner and fitter. I need to eat less and walk more. It's not rocket science. The fact remains that I'm still not fit and I'm a little bit fat. So actually what we need to have a process where not only do people have the information communicated to them, and then they have the opportunity to have a go in a safe environment to use some of that information and those concepts that they've been taught, but also they have the ability to have ongoing support in order that they can start to use those things on the challenges that they themselves face. It happened just the other day. As you know, I was in Munich, and one of the things that we say is a really important starting point is you must have a title that differentiates you from someone else. And I got quite a lot of pushback because I work in a really conservative space. We work with investment bankers. They want to know who I am and what I do. And this came from a man who was my age, wearing bleached out jeans, white trainers with corporate coloured, a blue lace on one and a pink lace on the other, because that's the corporate colour, saying, I can't change my headline. So actually, it's all very well to just be prescriptive and say, you must do this, you must do this, you must do this. But being able to refine how you behave, what you do, how you tackle those challenges that are unique to you, your industry, your vertical, your product, is absolutely crucial. And that doesn't come from a training course alone. That and as you know, when we set out, we already had what we thought was a really good training program, and that was validated by the ISP when they looked at it. We had a really good training program, but actually we don't just want to measure your ability to answer yes or no and give an answer. We want to measure your ability to be able to deploy this in the real world. So are you doing these things you need to do? Are you generating conversations? Are you publishing content which is elevating your visibility and how people arrive at an opinion about you? Are you growing your influence in the areas you want to? Oh, I've got 10,000 connections, but they're all in an industry I don't work in. Well, then you might as well have no connections at all in that case, because the people you're likely to be having conversations with are not the people that you need to be having conversations with and influencing. And measuring all of these things, not just at a single point, but on an ongoing basis for a period of time, is absolutely crucial to make sure that not only do you get the concept, you get deploying the concept, and you get the habit that you have to form for doing this on an ongoing basis.
So just drill down into the training for a second, because there's a very large accountancy software company, and they train their partners, and for some reason or other, the training got broadcast live. So I was able to tap in, and what it was slide, 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 fact, 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 slide, fact, slide, fact. And I don't know about you, but I mean, I switched off after a number of minutes because it was just so boring and dull.
Yeah.
So are you is if people sign up, are people signing up to that, or are
No,
people signing up to something different?
absolutely not. I mean, the fundamental problem with that as a methodology is it's like watching one of your children play a video game. You know, they say, "Oh, this is how you shoot. This is how you change your gun, and this is how you jump from this to that." And then they hand you the controller, and you've no idea what you're supposed to do, even though it looked really simple when they were doing it. So I think that there are multiple layers in here. There's first of all understanding the concept. Do you understand why you need to invest your time and thought and consideration in this? Because if you don't believe that the future is in social, if you don't believe your customers are there, everything else is academic. So there's the high level concept. Then there's here's why you need to do this thing. So let's take that headline as an example. Here's why you need to have a different headline and how important that is. Here's how you write a different headline. And then now you need to go away and write the headline. Now that's fairly simple because the headline, like any part of your profile, is a capital expense of your time. You know, you do it once. You should refresh it, of course, but basically you do it once. And then, but then there's the ongoing stuff that you need to do. And changing somebody's behavior, like the habit of going to the gym, is absolutely crucial. And as you know, and you know, for the benefit of the listeners, that's why we have ended up with this particular program. Because had we have gone down the government off-qual route, people would have sat an exam at the end of it, and we would have said, there you go, you've got your certificate, you've got your qualification now. And the problem with that is that you don't, by being good on social, you don't generate revenue. You generate revenue by being consistently good, day after day, week after week, month after month. So simply saying, do you understand the concept? Can you explain this? Yes. Let's have a look. Oh, you've got 1,000 connections. That's fantastic. You pass. Actually, if you never post anything again, or never connect to anybody new again, or never stimulate a conversation again, or never engage anybody else again, then you will fail. And we can absolutely say that you will fail because we know that that is true. And as we know, having done this for nearly 7 years, the challenge is not communicating the information to people and getting them to believe it. The challenge is not getting them to make changes to their profile and do a post. The challenge is in getting them to do a post today and a post tomorrow and a post the day after, and not to run out of ideas, to run out of confidence, to run out of time, and all of those things that are typically offered up as excuses as to why they haven't. Oh, I've been too busy. What, too busy to post something which is going to be read by a portion of your 10,000 connections, which will stimulate 50 interactions, which will stimulate 5 phone calls. You're too busy to have 5 phone calls with hot prospects today, are you? Well, you must be doing very well against your number then.
Well, it's classic, isn't it? I mean, we've had conversations with lots of clients where they say they're too busy, and you say, so is there a prospecting culture in this organization? Because what we're doing here is that this is your investment in the future, just as much as in the past. You know, in the medieval age, you basically rang people up. Now you can't get through to people. I mean, you know, most people are saying that cold calling has a 2%, if you're lucky, response rate. So that's a 98% failure rate. And so, you know, in the past you would have done that. Now what you're doing is you're working in social, because that's where your clients are, and we know that because all the data says that.
Yeah, and I think that your point there about, oh, I'm too busy to be able to do that. So the response is, so I assume you've got a huge pipeline full of content then, full of prospects then. No, we haven't got any pipeline. Okay, well then you're busy doing the wrong things, clearly, because it isn't working. And yes, you might by chance stumble upon the campaign that uses exactly the right word, or exactly, there's a huge amount of luck involved in that. You know, what and I believe that you used this phrase some time ago, which is it needs to be predictable and repeatable.
Yeah.
What you don't want is something to go viral and stimulate, 150,000 likes today, because actually you can't do anything with that. What you want is 50 things you can action today, which leads to 2 phone calls. If you say to anybody in business, would you like 100,000 phone calls this week? No, I wouldn't, because I can't do anything with it. What I want is 2 phone calls a day, every day, for as long as I can see into the horizon. And that's what we're trying to do, isn't it?
So if we think about the modern CEO and their growth agenda, why is something like a social selling qualification key to a CEO has a number of levers that they can pull. Why putting their sales team through this qualification, why would that be applicable for their growth agenda?
Well, I think there are 2 things to bear in mind. We're dealing with people, and people have the nasty habit of maintaining their habits. So you've been selling a particular way for 20 years. So you will always be drawn to default back to the way that you used to do things. So what we need enough runway for the habits to become embedded in those individuals. And the thing that the qualification offers, because it's an extended period of time, we have the training program, and then afterwards we have a mentoring program, and then people sit the exam, is that from the individual, the learner's perspective, they stay focused for the entire period. They stay focused through the training, which we found quite easy to do. They stay focused through the mentoring and the supported session, which is more difficult for them to do, because they know at the end of it, they're going to get this badge of honor. They're going to get something that they can hold up that says, here, an expert is telling everybody that I'm an expert in this topic. So that's the win for them. The win for the company, for the CEO, is the fact that the person whose salary is being paid is staying focused on the thing which is going to drive not just success today and tomorrow, but into the future. And always the challenge has been that, not with us, but with training as a whole, is that for the first session, people are really engaged. For the 101st session, people are not really engaged. And maintaining that engagement, that commitment, and that focus for the period for the entire period, because there is an objective at the end, means that everybody comes out a winner.
So I think what I'm hearing is that for an organization to first and foremost retain the staff they got. If you think about one of the big issues right now, we've come out of 2 years where people were laid off. Now we're in a situation where we can't get the skills. So we're looking for ways of actually retaining the sales force, and how can we become the employer of choice and recruit the best sales team, because if we've got vacancies, then we're not generating the revenue, we're not generating the market share that we should be.
Yeah.
What is it that social selling certificate will help an organization in terms of recruitment and retainment?
Well, it creates a sense of social as a whole, creates a sense of camaraderie, a sense of oneness amongst a team, because you get so many more touch points. It creates an environment where the internal culture of the organization is externalized. And if it looks like a happening organization, an organization where everybody's fun and committed and focused and enjoying and living their best life because they're talking about who they are and how much they're enjoying this stuff, the people in the marketplace see that and think, I want a slice of that, because I'm sitting at a company where we're bashing the phones. We're in an office all day long, and every now and again somebody gets up and rings a bell, or because I'm constantly looking over my shoulder waiting to see if I'm the next person that's going to be laid off. And then they go out into the world of social on any of the networks, and they look at what some of these other companies are doing, and they think to themselves, that looks like a utopian view of what work should be.
I want some of that.
Yeah, the people look happy, they look committed, they look contented, they look like they are thoroughly enjoying themselves. I want that.
So this isn't just about selling and sales then. This is about actually how you can recruit and retain people.
It covers so many different areas. We've sort of offered the idea of the social org. If you train everybody on this concept of how social selling works, because we're all selling something. We may not be selling products and services. We may be selling concepts. If you're in marketing, you're selling the idea that our product's better than theirs. If you're in HR, you're selling that it's a better place to work than their place to work. If you're in learning and development, you're selling the idea that we will develop you as an individual. So we're all selling. And the way that you effectively sell is by leading with yourself, recognizing that you are the most attractive thing you have to offer. So people want to listen to you when you speak. Finding the people that you want to be having that conversation with, that you want to identify you as being good at that topic, and finding that getting those people into your network so you can constantly influence and have conversations with those people. And the more of this we do, we see the more it helps with the company's visibility, it helps with the company's credibility, and not just credibility in terms of we're market leading at this, because so much of that you see everywhere, companies saying that, but credibility in as much as, oh, look, well, there's a good example. There's Eric. I like Eric. I'd like to work with Eric. Well, if there's a man I could trust and I could buy some stuff from Eric, by leading with who we are. We see this idea of oneness, the idea that we're part of something bigger than ourselves, particularly on the back end of COVID. My business world has been in this office. It's a nice environment to sit in, but actually I want to interact with people as well. And if we hadn't had these social contact points digitally, I would have been in a very different place to where I am now in terms of my own mental health. So the idea of making people feel that they're part of something bigger than them, part of something important that has a purpose and a vision and a mission, is absolutely vital, particularly now when people are asking for, I want to have a purpose. Yeah, it's nice that I get well paid for this, but actually I want to feel it's more than that. And, the idea of being able to bring everybody together under that umbrella and also be a magnet for the best talent. Here's someone that's exceptionally talented, exceptionally good at what it is they do. They can either shop around to find the job that pays them the most, which is a transactional activity, or they can find a job which feels like home. You're working in a company that they love and that loves and appreciates them and who they are. I mean, surely everybody's got to want that, haven't they?
Absolutely, yeah. So, Adam, so if people are interested in this qualification, who do they need to talk to?
Well, they can talk to us, you, Tim, or me. They can talk to any of our partners, such as Eric and Glenwood.
Eric Doyle, who just made the comment.
Indeed.
Lorena, who's made the comment.
They can talk to
Priscilla,
Alex,
Bird Marketing.
Yep. So any one of the people in our partner network will be delivering this, and will, at the end of it, the successful learners will get a validated certificate from the ISP. And there are some benefits for them from the ISP. So at the moment they register as a learner for this program, they get access to all of the ISP facilities. So they get access to the ISP website and their other learning programs, and all of the benefits of being part of that sales ecosystem. But I think that the key thing is that this is a commitment that people are going to make. So they need to have a conversation with us. They need to get a handle on what commitment they're making, because it's not everybody is going to pass this. This is going to be a gold standard of excellence in digital selling and social selling. So what it means is that if you hire somebody with our certificate, you know that they will be able to hit the ground running. You know that they will come with a large, engaged network. They will understand how to maneuver their network into the industries and the verticals that they want to get success in, or you want them to get success in. And for the people that are within your organization that commit to this and get that certificate, they will have a huge sense of pride that they have achieved something, and they will be one of the first tranche of people that does so. I think this is an exceptional opportunity for people that are keen and committed in the social and digital selling and influence space to have that validated and hold it up as a banner saying, look at me, I'm really good at this because all of the industry bodies say I am.
Fantastic. And I need to mention Lenwood Ross, Alex Abbott, as people that they can get in contact with as well as part of the DLA Ignite ecosystem of partners. Indeed.
And they will all be qualified to be able to deliver this according to our training program.
Adam, thank you so much for this. So
thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Remind people where they can get hold of you.
So LinkedIn, linkedin.com/in/Adam Gray, Gray. And on Twitter, I'm at AG Social Media.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your insight today, Adam. It's really interesting. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It sounds like a very exciting opportunity.
I think so. I'm incredibly proud.
Good. Thank you. And I'll see you soon.